I should really be drinking nothing but tea for my voice because it's like partly gone, but instead, cheers friends! Hello my lovely, gorgeous beans. I have missed you. I have sloth hands now. Sloth, sloth, sloth. If you're new here, hello, my name is Kristen and welcome to my channel that I've neglected for the last 2 weeks. You know, if there's one thing I've learned, it is damn hard to keep up with a YouTube channel and also be in the middle of like a cosplay crunch week, especially if you got a day job. So I thought it would be fun to kind of sit down and just do a little bit of a reflection video because this past weekend I attended my first ever Katsucon, which is a big convention in Maryland, because it was a time. The two things that I really knew about this convention going in is that this convention is a little bit more of a party con. And the reason for that is because this convention happens in a hotel. So the convention center is in the hotel where most of the attendees of the con are staying. So, you know, I'm just saying that like if it's one fish, two fish, drunk fish, blue fish, you got a lot of drunk cosplayers, most of them in Overwatch cosplays. So that's what I knew about the con, and in addition to that, I also knew that this was like a cosplayers convention. Cosplayers bring their A game, and it's a really good con geared towards cosplayers. And for me, that second part was really the selling point, because obviously I go to cons to cosplay, to meet new friends that do cosplay, and to just have a good time, and this con seemed to cover all those bases, and now after going, I can say it really, really did. My experience with this con was really positive and awesome, which is just very positive and awesome. And it was also a convention that I left feeling really, really good about my cosplays, because I premiered one new cosplay at this convention that my Patreon supporters have known about for the last like 2 months, which was a warrior version of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. It was a completely original design, and honestly, I'm like unbelievably happy with how it came out. First off, because like I said, this was my first ever completely original design. My Venusaur cosplay was also an original design, but it felt different because my Pokebomb group, we kind of had all bounced ideas off of one another, so it felt more like a collective design than just a completely personal design. But this Wizard of Oz cosplay completely came from my own brain. I actually was laying in my bed one day, had a severe migraine, as I do, and so I was laying in my bed in this kind of like half awake, half asleep thing, and all I can tell you is that when I woke up from my slumber, I suddenly had a cosplay idea that I was sketching out. And so I was really proud of the design, and I am still really proud of the design, and I can't wait to add more onto it and bring it to cons kind of updated, because I think this is going to be a cosplay that's going to become one of my staple cosplays for a while. And on top of that, this was my first cosplay that was a like majority armor cosplay. There was almost no sewing involved in this cosplay for me, except for pretty much the skirt and this like little cape skirt thing that I had going on. The rest of it was all armor that I built out of EVA foam, which I had never used before. I coated in Plasti Dip, which is basically like a rubber sealant, which I had never used before. And so there were a lot of things that I was just doing for the first time, and I was definitely really scared going into the convention that like it wouldn't all come together, like look well together, and that I would be walking around feeling like cheap and like it hadn't come out well and just not being proud of myself. Because sometimes us cosplayers don't check ourselves, and so we wreck ourselves, as in I didn't try on this cosplay completely all together until the day I put it on. But I honestly could not have had a more reverse reaction. Like, this is by far my favorite cosplay that I have ever done, and I felt just incredible in it. It sounds kind of stupid, but I just really love The Wizard of Oz, and I assume that when I was coming up with this design, I must have started thinking about The Wizard of Oz and how weird it is that we never see cosplays really of The Wizard of Oz. I just feel like we never see her other than these like Halloween store versions of her, and so I really wanted to make a badass Dorothy that like has all these elements of things that would make Dorothy a warrior. You know, she would use what she's learned from the Cowardly Lion lines. She would use what she's learned from the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and from Toto and from the Emerald City and just all these factors, and I just want to make a cosplay that other Wizard of Oz fans would like look at it and be like, whoa! And guys, I left this convention so feeling that way. The best compliment that I got multiple times at the convention, like it was the weirdest phrasing, but like a couple of people said it to me, was they said, what a beautiful concept realized. And that, there could not be like a better compliment than that, because that's a compliment not only to my execution, like my creativity, but like my brain and my ability to come up with it. And it was just, I was just very, very happy, guys. This cosplay gave me a sense of joy that I feel like I don't always feel with my cosplays, and I want to set this as the new standard of what I want to feel like when I'm in my cosplays. Just like anything else in life, when there's somebody else doing the same thing that you're doing, there's always going to be someone that's better than you at it, and that's okay. But it's really hard sometimes to deal with the fact that that's okay and that everybody's at different skill levels. And I feel like that's really blatantly like obvious in the cosplay community, because I mean, you can just tell the craftsmanship of some of the people that were at this convention was like mind-blowing. I got to meet some of my absolute favorite cosplayers that just do like unbelievable work, and it's hard when you're in when you're on a lower level like than they are in your craftsmanship. It's hard to like remember that at some point they were there too, and that it all takes time and everybody's at a different skill set. I think in the cosplay community, because you go to these cons and the bigger cosplays often get more attention or get more visibility, and so it's just hard to sometimes remember that how it makes you feel is way more important. And I just felt really, really good in this. I was really proud of it. I didn't feel stupid in it. I felt like I did a really great job for my first major armor builds that I did all on my damn own. I felt really good about it, and I felt so proud of my friends who also had amazing cosplays that I knew they had worked really, really hard on. And Katsucon, I feel like, was the perfect venue for that, because I felt so comfortable there. Like at any moment, if anything went wrong, for instance, on Friday when I was Gwenpool, the people at the Starbucks in the convention center did not fully secure the lid on a drink that I got, and so coffee spilled down the entirety of the white portion of my Gwenpool suit, and I didn't freak out, very simply because I had the comfort of knowing that I could go right back upstairs to my hotel room and fix it. And so I felt like Katsucon was a really good environment to feel that way, because there was such a sense of comfort and a sense of like everything's gonna be okay and we're all here to support one another sort of deal. And it was also just so amazing to have all of my con family in one place, because even at conventions like New York Comic Con or whatever, you know, you're not all at the same hotel. You all have to eventually go back somewhere, or the day ends, or it's hard to coordinate dinner plans. And at this con, you're all in the same place, so you're all gonna be around one another and remember to reach out to one another to hang. And it's just, it was really very different and special. Also, side note for any Overwatch fans, I met the voice of Reinhardt, and he was amazing. I went up to him and he was like, oh, you've lost your voice too? That makes two of us. And he went on this whole thing of like, I just read the last issue of Gwenpool last night. I love it. Were you in full costume this weekend? And I died. And he spoke in the Reinhardt voice. And so now I will play Overwatch until I die. Katsucon was just so delightful. It really was so delightful, and I want to give a shout out to my travel buddy, Tom Catt, who is one of, if not the most fabulous person that I've ever met in my whole life. He was my travel buddy going down, and I super appreciate you. Love you, Tom. And I just want to thank all of my friends who made the weekend so amazing. The new friends that I made, because I made so many new friends. Some of them are people that I so look up to in the cosplay community, and people that came up to me and knew who the hell I was. Like, who am I? I have no idea. Culmination of all of you just made this weekend so amazing. You all are very awesome, and this past weekend was very needed. But anyway, guys, guys, this is all gone, which indicates to me that I've been talking for too long. Imagine that. I have so much more amazing, more structured, well-written content coming out for you guys very, very soon. Some exciting new changes to the channel. So thank you so much for joining me and subscribing and liking this video, sharing it with your friends, do all that stuff. And if you want to help me even further with making these videos and these cosplays, becoming one of my Patreon supporters is an amazing thing to do. I seriously would not have been able to go to Katsucon if it were not for my patrons, so thank you so much. If you want to find me on other social media and see pictures of my cosplay, all that jazz, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the social media platforms at ShutUpKristen, and otherwise I will see you in my next video. Bye! Sloth out!